You gotta get into the groove.
Happy Saturday, football fans, and welcome to the Saturday Pigskin exclusively right here on the OH Report. My name is Brian Skowronski, and we have got a jam-packed house for you today. Effie James, always in the building. The Berndini to my Ali, he tells me. We've got Mike Sparks, the radio host at WQEL in Bucyrus, and the head coach of the Ontario Warriors, Chris Miller, joining us via the Coach's Corner today. And gentlemen, it is week 4. It's an exciting week to me, probably one of my 2 or 3 favorite weeks because you can kind of wipe the slate clean, if you will. You get to restart the season in some type of fashion where, of course, the first 3 weeks matter, but you're starting to get into the conference play. How exciting is it for you, Effie, that this time of year when the games, it matters just a little bit more?
Absolutely. Every week it starts to matter more and more. The conference chases start to take shape, and teams really start to see who's the pecking order of the conference play, and it's really exciting time for football fans and probably a stressful time for football coaches. But either way, it's a great time of year.
And you get to interview coaches every single week. Does it feel like there is a little bit more stress level at this time of year right now?
Sure, absolutely. And Brian, football's football, and everybody wants to play. But when you start to get into your conference, kids know each other. You have those natural built-in rivalries. You want to be the leader of your conference, the top of your conference, and win that conference crown. So once you get into conference football, that's when the fun really begins.
And this is your first season at your alma mater of Ontario, the first week in the conference play. Has anything felt different for you this past week, just getting ready for your first conference matchup?
I listen to these guys and think, man, we start over every Monday. And the preparation and the routine that's established on a football team is pretty consistent from week to week. So we try to kind of downplay that that level of anxiety and just say, hey, this is another football game. We gotta get ready for it, just like we did last week and just like we will next week. And I think there's some level of calm in the routine of work and planning that goes from week to week.
So week 1 here of conference play, opening up for a lot of teams here in Richland County. Let's check out how they all did right now in the Richland Runback. We begin with Ontario looking for a 3-1 start, hosting Marion Harding on homecoming. Coach Miller, a little added pressure given that it's homecoming night.
We had a couple guests in the locker room. They didn't even know it was homecoming night. And credit our kids that they stayed pretty focused with all those distractions. You got Spirit Day on Friday and Cowboys and whatever day on Thursday, and the kids came out to work every day like it was like a normal day. And our level of focus this week was pretty high.
And you see here the defense was awesome for you guys in the red zone all night. I believe there was 3 different times inside the 30 that you stopped him. And then what a huge play was this. Mr. Wilson going 43 yards to the house on a 4th down. How big did that feel at the time?
Well, that was, anytime we've struggled a little bit offensively this year, moving the ball, moving the chains, and we were 3 yards from the sticks there. If somebody asked what a gamble that was after the game, I didn't think it was a gamble. We needed that. We needed to kind of generate some offense, and we ran the ball, I think, 49 times and completed maybe 2 or 3. You can see my mom there going crazy. That's something, being close to the sticks, we needed to convert and did.
So Ontario off to a 3-1 start. Shelby looking to start the season at 4-0. They have not trailed all season till this. Colton Ray bursting in for the touchdown in the first quarter. It would end up being 13-7 Redmond after 1. They led it 20-7 at the half. And offensively, Coach James, we've been seeing this Whippets team put up huge numbers every week. How surprised were you to see that they couldn't get nothing going early?
It was surprising in a way, but not surprising in another. Bellevue is a team that's got tremendous tradition. We talked about this a couple weeks ago when Norwalk jumped all over Mansfield Senior, the same type of deal. As high school kids go, you just never know what you're going to get, and they've got to be ready to play. And I just don't think, for the first time in a long time, the Whippets were ready to play getting off the bus.
Shelby was down big early. They were able to battle back. Uriah Schwemley had 4 touchdown catches, but it's not enough. In the end, Bellevue wins 45-28. The Whippets suffer their first loss of the season. Now to a battle of unbeatens at the Colt Corral. Clear Fork, the defending MOAC champs, hosting North Union. And Trayvon Trammell goes in for 6 here early as the Colts score on the opening drive. But bet it right back, the Wildcats would respond. Trevor Moran, this kid was impressive. Just a sophomore, 241 yards on 23 carries on the night. He would tie things up early. The Colts with the answer though. Brennan South throwing up some racks. Gabe Lauser gonna cash him in for 6. And we've seen this team week after week, so many different weapons. The Colts can hit you from everywhere, man. It's crazy. Here's another weapon right here, Jared Schaefer, part of the 2-headed quarterback monster. He was awesome, 2 rushing touchdowns for him. And this time he's going to pitch it to Trammell. The Colts will go up 35-14. They blow this thing wide open in the 4th quarter. And watch this run, Coach. I know you always appreciate these extra effort plays. This kid just won't be tackled.
Absolutely. It's really nice to see Clear Fork with such tremendous talent on both sides of the ball. They've really kind of come into their own down there. Somebody told me today that they're probably a year or 2 out from, they left too early from the OCC. They'd probably be right on top of that thing right now as well as they're playing.
Coach Miller, a couple sweat beads over there. You know you got these guys on the schedule?
Hey, those are 2 good football teams right there. I think that game was pretty close into the 3rd quarter, and then, Clear Fork kind of pulled out and opened the floodgates. But North Union's a good football team.
Here's Lucas at Troy Christian, and when you chew up as many chunk plays as Jeb Grover, you just got to get right into the highlights. No playing any games. 43 yards to pay dirt early. The Cubs were up 6-zip. But Lucas uncharacteristically then allowed the next 21 straight points. The Eagles had several sustained scoring drives. How tough is it as a coach to see your team to bounce back after a stretch like that, giving up 21 straight?
Yeah, you just keep the kids in the game. That's the toughest. High school kids want to kind of, fold and you're down 3 scores, and that's one thing we talk about all the time is just responding to adversity and keep swinging, and good things will happen.
Cubs were down 21-6, but Grover checking the cheddar like a food inspector here. Taste and pay dirt again, and then the Cubs would come all the way back. They actually had a goal line stand and then drove 99 yards to win this thing. Lucas off to a 3-1 start. Last but not least, Madison hosting Wooster. The Rams coming off a shutout win. Can they carry some momentum into week number 4? They could not. Here's the general senior quarterback, Dylan Dagley. Sick juke, watch this. Whoop! All the way into the red zone. Dagley then is going to pitch it 9 yards. Brandon Taylor goes into the promised land. Wooster on top early. And then you are not going to see a more wide open receiver ever than this right here. How inexcusable is this? Where's the green jerseys? What's up? So Wooster on top now 14-0. And Miles Bond, he had a solid day at least for the Rams. $140 on the ground for him. James Wagner's right foot, though, was the only Madison offense of the night. They just had 3, and this kid, Dagley, boy, he was fantastic all night long. We saw last week Galleon's quarterback was able to carve up a defense. Just how dangerous is it to have a dude that can just take off on you like that?
Quarterbacks, athletic quarterbacks, and weapons as quarterbacks is very tough to defend in high school or any level, really. We're seeing it even at the pro level. So when you got a guy at quarterback that can make plays with his arms as well as his legs, that makes it very, very tough to defend him as a defense, no matter who you have.
$119 on the ground for Dagley as Wooster wins it 35-3. So the Rams cannot continue their winning ways, and so much is said about just the winning culture and attitudes of programs. So Chris, since we got you here and you took over a program that hasn't had a great winning experience over about the last several seasons, what have you done to help turn things around? Because it seems like kids have bought into your system, your way of thinking, and what's going on with the program that you're off to this 3-1 start?
Well, I told somebody today, I'm not real sure how good we are quite yet. We're 4 weeks in on a 10-week season. It's a long season. Some of the things we've done, I suppose we developed a leadership council back in the wintertime and just started talking football. We just had discussions about what's important to the kids, what do they want out of this experience, and really try to put that back in their laps a little bit and give them some say in how this program operates. And I think it's important to just surround the kids with adults and coaches that they don't just care about the game of football, but they care about the development of these youngsters into good people. And I think our kids are feeling that. We got some Scott Bloom is the defensive coordinator, is a good person, he's a good teacher. Outside of the game of football, Ted Mutey and Keith Strickler, some of those names have been around a while and are good, caring people. So I think our kids know that our coaches care about them, number one, and we're not going to flip a lid if something goes bad. We're all there in it together, and I think that's kind of the heartbeat of our locker room. Is this isn't just the kids out there performing. We're all in this together. I think that's probably been the biggest cultural change. That and I told them a long time ago, when people outside of Ontario think of Ontario football, they don't think of tough. They don't think of gritty. They don't think of we're going to come in and we're going to leave hurt. And those are basic elements of football. And we got to do something in order to change that image and change that culture. So we named the street back there that the stadium's on, Grit Street. That's one of our 3 pillars of football. And then we test those theories. We'll put them through some conditioning before practice starts and tell them, you got 2 more and give them 5 more, and then hear if there's anybody complaining or not. Just kind of things just to see how they're responding to things that aren't going their way. And I don't know if it's working or not, but at this point we're sitting at 3-1, so we can't complain too much.
Any internal surprise, would you say, just given where the program has been the last few years, that you are off to a 3-1 start and heading into a game where you can be 4-0 and 2-0 in the conference?
Yeah, we're obviously happy being 3-1 right now. I don't know if you'd have asked me 2 months ago, would we be 3-1? I don't know how I'd have answered that question. Probably not. But then, as we progress closer and closer to, confidence starts building. Kids step up and make plays. Owen Hatfield, who would have thought he was going to have the start that he had this year.
And since you brought up my man, the water bug, I got to know, because Owen, we've talked. He's about 5'5", 125 is what he says he is comfortably.
Hey, wherever he wants to be, that's where he's at. It's 5'5" is probably pretty accurate. 1.25 is probably pretty accurate. He's a little dude out there, and I think there was a comment made in the locker room. Quave Booker's going to break him in half or something. And somebody said something like that, and I said, good. Then we'll have 2 Hatties running around. That can't be better than that.
Sure. Do you have any concern that he might actually get broken in half?
No, we were running Owen, across the field on some outside zone stuff, some stretch stuff, and nothing ever where he was going to get squared up by a middle backer. We weren't running him inside on ISO or anything like that, but when we rotated 3 or 4 tailbacks, and the running game last night was working up the middle a little bit, ISO and trap. We had some success in there, but no, we kept Hattie out on the perimeter.
Hattie, I believe, is a transfer from Crestline, which is over in your neck of the woods, Michael, over in Crawford County. So let's talk a little bit about what's been going on over west here of Mansfield. Who's some of the top teams that you've been keeping an eye on? Who's really surprised you or impressed you so far at this point in this season?
Sure. Well, the top team obviously has to be Winford. They've never lost a Northern 10 Conference game.
That's amazing.
It is. And Gabe Halbert and his staff are consistent. They have the same coaches year after year. The kids buy into the program as they come up through the ranks. And until someone knocks them off, they will be at the top. I get the opportunity to interview Coach Teglovic and the Colonel Crawford program each week on my radio show. They're a team that's up and coming. Lost a lot of talented kids from last year. Trevor Schrauber, their running back last year, brought in a new quarterback, Zai Shipman, been very consistent, very efficient, and their running game's getting after it. Those 2 meet next week for the Iron Plow. It's a traveling trophy between the 2 schools. Winford's won the last 4. Crawford kids have always kind of had that they just can't get over the hump. They've been close the last couple of years, just can't seem to get over it. It'll be an interesting game, but it's at Winford again this week. Should be a playoff-type atmosphere. I'm sure both teams are going to be treating it as if it were a playoff game, and a lot of playoff points on the line. Winford's not getting a lot of help with their non-league schedule. They beat Liberty Benton. Liberty Benton, uncharacteristically, is 0-4 right now. Allen East is 1-3, and they lost to Edison in week 2, so they're not getting a lot of help. They're going to have to get it within the league with the likes of Colonel Crawford, Seneca East, and Mohawk, teams like that, because Mohawk's going to have a say in it. Seneca East is also going to have a say in the Northern 10 as well as Winford and Colonel Crawford. On the eastern side of the county, we talk about Gallion. I get to talk to them each and every week. They lost their first game last night to Pleasant. Pleasant, a very good program in the MOAC, as is Gallion, and I know Coach Miller's looking forward, I'm sure, to North Union, Clear Fork, Pleasant, and Gallion all coming up on his schedule. They do a nice job. Coach Dick's doing a great job. He says that Gallion is the land of skilled athletes, and they are, but he brought back a ton of linemen, big linemen this year, and the skill kids are really getting it done. Middleton at quarterback, Allsip at a wideout, so they're doing very, very well. And I think they're going to have a say in the MOAC as they progress down through the year. And then Crestline, numbers are always going to be a problem with them. They continue to have problems. They're on the road tonight, actually, at Dayton Christian. Ty Clark does a nice job running the offense. Where they're really struggling is line play right now in both pass protection and run blocking. If they get that straightened out, they should be okay. They're not playing in a conference, so they have to rely on wins during the year to maybe get them into the playoff atmosphere.
Yeah, Ty Clark for them should be a big-time playmaker. I told him this week at school that he better come up with a W. Some other players here in this area had some top performances last night. Let's check them out right here on this week's Friday Night Phenoms, brought to you by MWD Logistics.
We've got some fresh new young talent doing some things that I know you haven't heard before.
1, 2, 3, listen.
We begin with a dude who is no stranger to this list. I think this is the third time we've seen Jeb Grover on here, but when you got video game-like numbers like this, it's pretty impossible to keep him off. Over 300 yards on the ground, 3 touchdowns again. I think this kid's closing in on 1,000 already, guys. Thoughts?
He's got to be one of the fiercest runners. He runs hard. He's already got great size. So when I can remember being in high school and part of being a DB, that small DBs, they talk a lot. But when you get a big guy coming out of the backfield, they get really quiet and they don't like making those tackles. So when he gets through the interior line and he's got the type of speed that he has, it makes him a really, really tough tackle, and that's why he's got so many big plays, because small DBs is tough on tackle.
I believe he had 2 more touchdown runs over 50 yards again this week. That's something that he did last week and the week before. It's an every single game thing for Jeb Grover to have big plays, and that's why he lands on this list for the 3rd time in 4 weeks. Uriah Schwemley, hey, a different whippet this week. His quarterback, though, was able to air it out to him. 4 touchdown catches for this kid. He is just a flat-out freak.
He's a gifted athlete, there's no question, in all sports, basketball obviously as well as football, and certainly he does a nice job, and the quarterback gets him the ball, but when he can get into space and use his athletic talent, he certainly can do a lot of different things on the football field that help the Whippets out.
4 touchdown catches, it seems like a lot for a high school kid in one game. Coach Miller?
Brian, yeah, I'm trying to think. I don't think we have 4 touchdown catches all year this year.
Right.
That's pretty impressive. Yeah, he's a special player and comes from a good family. Father's a coach.
Jared Schaefer of the Clear Fork Colts. What I like so much about this guy is that he splits time under center with Brennan South. He's still able to put up his offensive numbers, but then he does it on the defensive side of the ball too. Had an interception, a fumble recovery, and he's a hard-nosed dude. I've seen him come in between the tackles and make some stops on some running plays. All-around good player, Jared Schaefer. Big fan. There's the interception. Wasn't able to take it back for a touchdown, but I don't know, kind of special to have a two-way player like this, Michael, that can just do everything.
Yeah, no question. When you're trying to focus on both sides of the ball and put your energy where it needs to be, and to be able to put up performances on both sides, that's a special player to not only concentrate on one side, but to do it on both sides of the ball. And at a small school, although Clear Fork's not the smallest school around, it's pretty special to have those athletes on your program.
Off to a 4-0 start for the 2nd season in a row. Clear Fork got things rolling out there at the Corral. And last but not least, Dylan Dagley, the quarterback of Wooster, 162 through the air, only 6 carries for a $119 on the ground. I believe that's about 20 yards a clip if my math's good.
That's pretty impressive for him as well, and to be able to do things through the air and with his feet. And obviously their coach believes that the offense runs through him and has enough confidence in allowing him to, as you see there, to take off and run on his own if the receivers weren't open and make those kind of decisions. Pretty special player.
Effie, I know you played quarterback back in the day. Do you have any runs that look like this?
But it is it is a very special and unique gift when you've got a guy that can throw the football efficiently, but also can run the football efficiently. Your defense has got to be so disciplined and really solid at every position to really defend a kid like that. And that's why it's such a great weapon to have a quarterback that can do both effectively.
There you have it, our Friday night phenoms for week 4, presented by MWD Logistics. So final thoughts, gentlemen. 4 weeks into the season, we got to get a little taste of conference play now. We got a pretty good idea of what these teams are here in this area. What's your parting shot here,
Well,
Adam?
I think one of the things that I've taken away from these first 4 weeks is, we haven't got a hold on, the teams and who's really good, who's not so good, who can win the leagues, who can't, and when you think you do, you see a game like Shelby Bellevue. And just when you think you've got everything figured out, Tiffin beats Ashland. And when you think things are going in the right direction for a team like Mansfield Senior, they go on the road and get beat by West Home. So it's a season that, again, as a spectator, is actually entertaining to watch, and you love to see the kids compete. But it's also great because I think Coach Miller was talking about it. It's the little things. It's so much more than just being the best athlete or being the biggest, the strongest, the fastest. High school sports is about the little things, the coaching, and not only the coaching, but the acceptance of coaching and bringing those game plans to the field. And we're seeing a lot of that in places where you just didn't think you would. You figure, well, they got the best, the fastest, the strongest, so they'll win. That's not always the case, and if you can pull together a team that can believe in themselves and believe in their program, a team's going to be successful no matter what their talent level. They've just got to be able to execute and really find ways to do the other things in games, special teams, and make a play when there shouldn't be a play made. Those are things that turn around a game and also change momentum and can give you a win when probably rightfully you shouldn't get one.
And the Northern 10 Conference over in Crawford County is as competitive as it has been. However, it's pretty clear to me your top 4 teams, Mohawk, Winford, Colonel Crawford, and Seneca East, and they're going to battle it out. They're all going to play each other. But that's not to say that someone like an Upper Sandusky, a Bucyrus, a Cary, obviously, are going to have some says. You look at Seneca East and Bucyrus last night. That was a close game for the first half, and Seneca East kind of enforced their will in the second half. But that's the beauty of conference football, that anything can happen on any given night. Those top 4 teams are probably going to battle it out for the top, but I won't be shocked if someone from the lower half of the ledger comes up and knocks one of those top teams off.
Any message you'd like to throw out there to Warrior Nation or anybody, Chris?
Hey, happy birthday to Carl Schnicke today.
Hey, my man.
Yeah, assistant basketball coach in Ontario. I won't tell you how old he is, but he's climbing the ladder a little bit, so I want to wish Carl a happy birthday.
All right, a shout out to Carl and a shout out to all my guests tonight, Chris Miller, Effie James, and Michael Sparks. Thank you so much for watching out there at home on your computers, and we'll see you again next Saturday right here on the Saturday Pigskin.